Ladies and gentlemen, today it's really a big pleasure for me because I have a real friend together with me. Hi Fede, how are you?
Ciao Gregorio, molto bene. Tu? Ah no, sorry, I forgot. We need to talk in English, Gregorio. Very well, and you?
I'm super happy, and also for the audience, you already know who is here together with me. It's Federico Cesconi, the CEO of Sandsiv Plus. And today we are going to dream about what technology can do, and we will find out that this is already a reality. But before we deep dive into Disneyland Paris with all the dreams and experience that we can have there and understand how we could improve them with technology, let's really have a quick chat with Federico and learn more about today's top player, Federico. Could you please introduce yourself?
Well, as you said, I'm CEO of Sandsiv. Sandsiv is basically, I still call a startup, but it's not a startup anymore because we are already 12 years on the market. We started, really focusing on creating a customer experience management solution. So the idea from the beginning, from scratch, was to create, a solution to support the customer experience management framework. The framework is basically a framework I designed, and is kind of universal framework with different steps: capture, analyze, integrate, improve, and measure. I don't go in details because otherwise I talk for a couple of hours, and I don't think is the aim of this podcast. And basically we're I would say quite successful. We target big enterprise customers, and we have several implementations around the globe.
Thank you very much, Federico.
No
And
problem.
what I really am keen to discuss with you, because we met personally also several times, which values drive you in life?
The big value for me is to do things that I love to do. So it's important that I wake up in the morning, and what it expects me if is something that I love to do. Then it doesn't mean that it's something that is always a pleasure to do, because of course, doing something that you love to do, a lot of time there are things that you hate, or you would like to avoid, but you have to do. And I think the strength, the energy to do those things, you get it just if you are doing and you see a big picture of something, that makes you extremely happy. And not necessarily, as I said, to create a company and to create a product and be successful. You can do whatever you want. I mean, this is what I teach also to my kids. Do what makes you happy, because life is short, and basically you have to enjoy and be happy in life. So this is my, let's say, motto.
Your motivation is engaging because we had several discussions, and what we are saying is also what you are writing in LinkedIn is full of passion, full of also thoughtful ideas that you share with the audience, and therefore it's clear that you are loving what you are doing. And today I would like to discuss with you one article of a lot of them that are really great, but in this case is the one that you wrote few weeks ago: detecting pitfalls in Disney Paris customer journey in less than 60 seconds. And this sounds like a dream. And therefore, let's fasten the seatbelt and start dreaming. And before I ask you to explain that, I use my two words on that. Let's really think or dream about having an engine, or as you always say, Federico, a red button that you can push, and then from the customer feedbacks that are available because of direct feedbacks, or through social media and other different systems, you can find out the sentiment of your customer. You can find out topics, and you can put them together in different and classify them. And from them, not only classifying them, but putting them also on the customer journeys, related also to from which touch point they are coming from. And not only this one, but in addition, also having a pre-classification of the most important 5, 6, 7 pitfalls that we need to solve. And I think that's what you created. These were only the summary with my small words. Therefore, I hand over to you, the ideator of this great solution. Could you please comment a bit on that?
Yeah. Well, you summarize already a lot of things, Gregorio. So you are better than me to explain the whole story. But let's start from the articles. 4 years ago, I think 2018 or something like that. I wrote the first article about Disneyland Paris. Why Disneyland Paris? Because there is free available data sets of 16,000 customer comments left on Facebook about their experience at Disneyland Paris. So then I did at that time I did a kind of classical approach using the Sandsiv platform. And basically, the title was Detecting Pitfalls in 60 Minutes. Then we all know that, a few months ago, large language models become very popular, especially ChatGPT. Probably the most known at the moment is ChatGPT. And then I started to research, how to use such a kind of models, within the customer experience management or voice of the customer framework. And to make a long story short, I discovered that those models are so well trained that you don't need to train them anymore, even on a specific case. So I had the idea initially, to run topic detection without previous training. So just using the model as it is. And basically, that I will not go in technicality, but I use a few short examples when I call the model in a way that the model knows what I expect from him and what kind of output I expect from him. But seeing that the model was so good and so precise in finding the topics, then I went one step further and I said, okay, let's try to do aspect-based sentiment analysis. So aspect-based sentiment analysis is basically discovering the different topics that can be within the same sentence and assign the right sentiment to each topic. So for instance, the phone is perfect, but experience with customer care is terrible. So the model should answer in this sentence. I have product positive, customer care or call center negative, and I did that experiment. Of course, it's not easy. I mean, you should prompt in a way, and you should receive the format in a certain way, but it worked. Together with extracting the topic and extracting, the sentiment, I asked also the model to extract the segment, so the part of the sentence that refers to the topic and to the sentiment. And then once I had that information, I discussed with a colleague here at Sandsiv, and he told me, it would be cool, to build a kind of customer journey view of all this information. and then what I did basically, I created another approach, another let's say analysis, which was I give to the model the different phases, the different touch points, and the different labeling of the customer journey mapping for customers that are visiting Disneyland Paris park. And you basically take the segment and you tell me in which customer journey phase, customer journey touch point, and labels this segment refers. And in this way, then I will finish now, Gregorio. In this way, you are really able, to make together the score that you have, because the customers, the original data set has a comment and a 5 stars score. The information about the topic, the information about the sentiment, but also the information about the customer journey. And then the idea is, and I'm working on that, to plot the full customer journey and then show all the informations, all the sentiments, all the topics, what is the ranking from the customer's point of view of the whole customer journey.
And what you are saying, basically, it means that for every project, initiative, or customer experience professional, whoever is doing customer journey management or mapping in a company, it can use and leverage this solution to pre-plot, to pre-create, and to pre-populate the journeys with real feedbacks. I often participate to these workshops, and then you have a lot of people having different ideas, and I think the customer will say this and the customer will say that. Not a lot of companies are inviting customer to join because of different excuses that they will find that customer will not join. And in this case, it's ready there to use. I think for sure at the beginning will be at an higher level, sometimes a bit deeper level, but you already have quite a lot of information, and you have a great preparation for every workshop where it's going about what is doing the customer next. And I think this is really game changing. I know everything what you are sharing is game changing, because it will extremely help us in the transformation, in the customer-centric transformation, to leverage these feedbacks. But you have, in addition, one additional secret ingredient in your article. Could you please share a bit of that?
Secret?
The secret ingredient.
But well, the secret ingredient is certainly, using a framework to access the large language model, because without a precise framework that allows you to integrate the large language models in your existing IT environment, becomes complicated. Why? Because the tendency of large language models is to answer back, I would not say in the way they want, but one day they answer on one format, another day on the other format, etc., etc. So I use, a popular open source library, Python library, that is called LangChain, and is getting extremely popular, to build applications, agents, and whatever, using whatever language, large language model, not just OpenAI. And this allows really to create an application, a robust application that can run in production. Then I don't want to go too much in details, because I don't know, the audience of this podcast is not really interested in the technical part, more in the business part. But of course, my idea was, let's start from the business, let's start from my clients, let's understand how can we improve the customer experience of my clients, and then go to the technology and see if the technology can support that.
That's the perfect mission of every customer experience professional or transformational expert, really having the mission of involving the customer from the beginning, trying to understand them, and help them achieving their results. Before we go into the dashboard, because I think this is also the value added that you are providing, because what you are saying and what you already said is there is a lot of technology behind that, but the technology is provided by you and by Sandsiv, and therefore then people can use it and leverage it in a different way. But now that we are a bit more on the technicalities, how will change the role of data analyst or of CX professional with all these technologies available?
Mm-hmm. This is a good question, Gregorio, because basically, as I said, my main idea was to manage, the customer experience of my clients. So I thought, okay, how can I make life of my clients easier in terms of when they have to work, towards customer experience management? They can dedicate more time in activities that are extremely important and strategic, and where you really need a person, a human beings analyzing or thinking or ranking, and where I can remove the difficulties and make artificial intelligence to work through those difficulties. And this was basically my aim when I started. And the idea was having as much as possible artificial intelligence doing the dirty jobs, not just the dirty jobs, but mainly the dirty jobs, and then on top of that, adding through artificial intelligence some capabilities in a way that I can provide also immediately valuable insights. What I mean with valuable insight, I mean that, if you consider the solutions that we have today in the market, they all provide a very nice dashboards, et cetera, and the difficulty I've seen in presenting just a dashboard is that then people must have their own interpretation of the KPIs, understanding what are the correlations, et cetera. What I did on top of what I basically described before was having the model, taking the insights immediately out from the dashboard. So creating a kind of storytelling of the dashboards, saying what are the pros and cons perceived by the customers, what are the initiatives you can put in place, for instance, for each touch points in order to improve the touch points, what are why the model answer in that way, and a kind of priority ranking of the projects to put together. So you don't receive just, I would call a naked dashboards, but you receive already a set of recommendations, a set of insight described as a text,
I
So
think this is...
sorry, because then I answer to your question. So I see basically, let's say, the dirty and boring job done by the artificial intelligence, giving very rich insights to the customer experience manager or the analyst, etc. And with these insights, we can go, especially the customer experience managers can go to a higher level, and they have even more time to spend, for instance, to convince the rest of the companies to work towards a certain problem, a certain thing. So free up a lot of time in a way that this time can be beneficial for the whole project.
And what you're saying, I think this is key, and this is how we should leverage artificial intelligence. I don't want to open up the discussion around artificial intelligence in general. There are other people discussing about that. Here we are focused on what you're saying. But basically, this leveraging this technology for customer experience manager, transformation manager, and all these people means applying this technology to enhance our intelligence, to support us, to give us assistance in finding things that for us it would take hours or months of work.
Wow.
It gets summarized in less than 60 seconds, perhaps let's say 65 seconds at maximum, and basically it helps us. It's the enhancement of what we are doing, and this is the way I like to leverage artificial intelligence. Now, speaking as a businessman, I want to see it before I deliver that to my customer, and I use that to think, discuss, and speak with my customer. I want to see within my company what is happening. Is it working? Is it working properly? And therefore, it enhances also the experience of the employees and free up time to create the nice stuff and to do everything what is required. And afterwards, we can go out and say, these are the 10 things that we want to do, how we can leverage that. I really like the way of having one use cases thought end to end from the beginning, feedback getting, creating action and suggesting actions. I'm sorry, it's still not able to implement the solutions. Perhaps in the near future, we will have that. But I really love the idea of having an end-to-end process. I have 10 priorities, and the 10 priorities are not defined by somebody because it's the most paid one, the hippo in the room, or is the one that speaks the loudest, but it is based on objective data. And I really like that. Federico, is this solution already available for your customer, or it's only R&D at the moment?
At the moment, it's only R&D, and we are taking some deep considerations on this solution, because on one side, the solution, as I said, the solution focusing on making life of our clients easier, open also, if you want, a market, because as you said at the beginning, Gregorio, there are a lot of companies that maybe have a lot of feedbacks, or they can get feedbacks from their clients from different sources, even indirect sources. And for a solution like the solution we suggest, you just need a customer feedback. In theory, just a customer feedback. But if you have a score associated to the customer feedback, could be a net promoter score, could be a 5 stars, could be whatever scale you want, then it can be beneficial, because you can put also some cross reference with the numbers. And this, what does it mean? It means that even a company where that is an extreme immature level in customer experience can really benefit from a solution like that, because, as you said, you can send the feedback and the score and get in few minutes a dashboards, recommendations, suggestion of projects you have to do, etc., etc. So it becomes extremely convenient in terms of money and time for companies, and it reduces a lot the complexity to build a big end-to-end customer experience management solution. Then I didn't say that maybe in future you don't need to go in that direction, but at least from the beginning, you can start in a very easy way and go extremely fast immediately. And answering back to your question, we hope to launch the product by the end of the year. But this comes from me, so don't trust me, because I'm always trying to push my team to go fast. In reality, I think it will be something for next year.
Thank you. But it's really interesting to follow the development, and in the next few months there will be also new technologies available that you can leverage and use to refine this solution. You mentioned that the names in the article, and therefore I allow also myself to mention the name. You shared that this idea came up in discussion with Adriana Piazza, a former Sandsiv employee, and Mirko Bonerba. I think this is also great, putting great minds together, finding solution, finding way to create this solution. But basically, and I know you pretty well, and therefore I allow myself, you have a massive passion for this topic. How did you develop this passion?
Well, I'm in artificial intelligence and machine learning since probably 22 years. So, and I started in the 90s to work in database marketing. At that time was really something very simple. Then I move a little bit in machine learning, creating model, churn prediction model and things like that. And it was at the end of the 90s that. And then, data science and machine learning was always, a big topic for me. And it becomes natural to mix it, with customer experience. Also because I'm passionate about customer experience. It's not that I'm passionate just about technology. And then when I saw, you know better than me, Gregorio, because a couple of years ago, when I've seen the first Transformers model around, I said, such a kind of architecture, will change the world, definitely. And ChatGPT is just one of the application of the transformers in the real world, and you can see really what is the potential of those solutions, and basically I'm 100% sure that we reach a level where we will have a new revolution, a new technology revolution. So this year or end of last year, with the getting ChatGPT so popular and so open to the whole world, it was an extremely big step, a game changer that will change, our technology, our customer experience, our life in the next years.
And you are speaking exactly about the next question, a revolution in the next years. In 10 years from now, we are back on the CX Goalkeeper podcast. What we are discussing about?
This is very, very hard, Gregorio. As I said, in 1994, I was in Los Angeles, and I've seen for the first time the internet, and it was a wow, something like that. Said, wow, these things will change the world. And then I came back in Europe. I did a startup. I tried to, do something like Amazon, so offering a mall, a virtual mall, to sell things in internet. It was too early. I failed, but and I remember a lot of people that said, but this internet is something for kids. We'll end soon, and the feeling I have today towards this large language model and what is possible to do in the real life and changing, for instance, the customer experience is exactly the same. Even the feeling is stronger. I think we definitely are in, as I said, a game changer period. This integration of these big, large language models with the existing technologies will change in 1-2 years, will change completely the way we will interact with the technology, how we go through customer experience, with different vendors, with different providers. In my opinion, will be a big revolution. Answering your question, well, in 10 years is a little bit hard to say in 10 years. What I see in 10 years, from our solutions is something that basically you won't need anymore a computer and a keyboard to interact with the solution. but you will interact like, talking to the solution, explaining to the solution, telling the solution, no, I don't like this, I prefer that, and etc., etc. So the way probably we will interact with technology really from a ergonomic point of view will be totally different compare what we do today. So this is the only, let's say, prediction. I feel at least that I don't know, 51% possible to tell you, but definitely we are and we are living a big revolution in this moment.
Thank you very much, Federico. This game is coming to an end, but we still have few minutes in the extra time for 3 quick questions. I'm not going to ask you which book would you like to suggest to the audience because you wrote a book. It's not well known yet, but could you please share what for a book you wrote and where we can find it?
Yeah. Well, it was a collection of things I did in the past 10 years. So it was a collection of with a certain logic, a certain storytelling of things I wrote, during the past 10, 11 years at Sandsiv. And definitely is something related to the original paper I wrote, which is, the customer experience framework. And basically tried to put together all the errors mainly I did in a way that the others can avoid to do the same errors I did, implementing customer experience management projects. The book is available on Amazon, so people can go on Amazon. And the title of the book is Start with the Customer. And yes, I mean, it was not a book where I pretend to become famous or rich. It was just something I wrote because I said, okay, it's good to have a kind of documents on what I did in the past 10 years. At least I have something there. And as you said, Gregorio is not well known. I don't care about it because I wrote more for me than for the others. So if people want to download it and buy, it's okay. Otherwise, it's okay anyway.
Thank you, Federico. But as usual, you are not really explaining the reality because I read the book. It's really a great book. There are a lot of insights and it helped us. It's in customer experience, but it's in digital transformation and it's in our life to reflect and think about things. And I really like the way you are discussing and sharing some topics, some ideas, some concept, because it helped me and it brings an additional view on that. And therefore I recommend to buy the book, even if Federico itself is not recommending it.
No, it was not that, but I usually hate people that go to a podcast or to whatever and try to sell a book because better than I was not here, to promote my book. I was here because I love to talk to you, Gregorio, and I like what you are doing, and this is the aim. I'm here. I'm not here to sell Sandsiv or to sell my book. So that was to underline. Let's see.
The people that knows you already know that you are far too kind, and but I recommend the book, and I'm super happy to recommend that. What's the best way to contact you, Federico?
Well, I have my own email address, which is Federico at Cesconi, CESCONI.com. That is my private address. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on TikTok together with my friend Gregorio. We did some stupid video, and but was a positive experience. So I think or simply enter my first name and last name in Google, and I'm sure you will get a lot of information on how to contact me.
Thank you, Federico. And where we can find Sandsiv?
Sandsiv, Sandsiv.com is the website. And also Sandsiv, we have a fantastic team. I call my dream marketing team, Silvia and Jada, and they are extremely active on LinkedIn, on YouTube, or even on TikTok now, and on Instagram with Sandsiv. So feel free to get in touch with.
And you will
Sandsiv.
find all the information in the contact details in the show notes related to Federico and related to Sandsiv. You know what is my last question? Federico's golden nugget, it's something that we discussed on something new to leave to the audience.
Yeah, I know that you have this question, but I always have problems regarding the golden nuggets, because I didn't find yet a golden nugget, so I cannot share it. But as I answered to you the last time you asked me this question, I have to say my golden nuggets for everybody is remember that when you wake up in the morning, you must be happy on what you are going to do. And when you basically start to sleep in the night, you have to think about your day and be happy what you have done. That's the most important things in life, independently from making money, from whatever. So happiness is number one.
Federico, I say thank you very much. Please stay with me. To the audience, it's everything for today. I hope that you were able to dream together with us what is possible with technology, thinking about Disneyland Paris. For me, it was a great episode. If you have any feedback, please feel free to contact me, contact Federico for any question. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share the word of mouth, subscribe it, share it. Until the next episode, please don't forget, we are not in a B2B or B2C business, we are in a human-to-human environment. Thank you!